In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up Google Tag Manager on Squarespace. It's going to be step by step. So even if you're a complete beginner, you're going to learn how to set up GTM on Squarespace. And on top of that, I'm also going to show you how to set up a custom tracking event. This is something that I haven't seen on any other GTM Squarespace guide. So if you actually want to learn how to make the most of Google Tag Manager once it's connected, this video is for you. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Henry Purchase, founder of SEO Space, and we made the SEO plugin for Squarespace. We've helped over 5,000 Squarespace websites rank higher up on Google, so feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want more Squarespace SEO tips to attract more target customers to your Squarespace site. But without further ado, let's get into this guide. Now, for those of you who don't know, Google Tag Manager is essentially Google's native platform that allows you to set up custom tags and events on your Squarespace website. This is particularly helpful because what it allows you to do, it allows you to get more in-depth details about where website visitors come from, what they do on the website in the lead up to a certain event. Now, one thing I will say, Google Tag Manager can feel a little bit overwhelming at times, but I'm going to make sure that I go through this in a jargon-free way. So let's get into it. Now, the first thing I want you to do is set up a Google Tag Manager account. In the first link in the description, I'll add a link to Google Tag Manager. And once you're here, I just want you to create an account. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up Google Tag Manager for my SEO agency website. So I'm going to just put the business name as the account name. I'm going to share data anonymously with Google because let's be honest, they've got all of your data anyway. And then all I'm going to do is set up the container. I just always put the website URL as a container before then putting web. So account name, country you're in, you may as well share your data with Google. They've got it already. And then set up your container before pressing create, accepting their terms of service. Again, Google's got all of your data anyway, so I wouldn't worry about it. And then what's going to happen is you're going to come to the Google Tag Manager workspace where you're then going to install Google Tag Manager into Squarespace. And this step, despite it looking a little bit scary with custom code, is actually really easy. All you're going to do is head over to your Squarespace dashboard, press this search bar, and then type in code. This is going to allow you to easily find the code injection here, which you'll then be taken to the code injection part on your Squarespace website. Now, once you're here, all you need to do is take this first code and copy it into this header section. So copy it into the header section. Then what you're going to do is with the second code is you're going to copy this and you're going to put it in the footer one. So I'm going to go here, add it in the footer, and then go over and press save. Then what you're going to need to do, you want to make sure you test it before pressing OK. So get the URL of your website, make sure you press save on Squarespace, put the URL of your site in here and then press test. And Google Tag Manager is going to go through and test to make sure that it's set up correctly on your website. And I always recommend when you're doing this, make sure you're doing tests. As you can see, it's been installed correctly. So I can press OK. So there you are, guys. Easy as that. You've now set up Google Tag Manager on Squarespace. However, do not stop here because just because you've created the setup does not mean that the data from Google Tag Manager is being passed from Google Tag Manager to Google Analytics. You first need to make sure you set up a initialization event. An initialization event is literally just an event that when someone lands on any of your web pages, Google Tag Manager picks that up and begins sending data to Google Analytics. So I'm going to show you how to set that up now. All you need to do is head over to tags. Then I'm going to want you to press new tag, tag configuration. Then you can add the name, and all I'm going to do is put GTM GA4 page visit, because this is Google Tag Manager sending data to GA4 whenever there's a page visit, i.e. there's an initialization of data being passed from GTM to GA4. Then all you need to do is tag configuration. You can just click Google Tag here. Then in this tag ID, what I'm going to want you to do is add your Google Analytics tag ID. Now there's a couple of ways to do this. One way is head over to settings. Now I am assuming that because you're watching this video and you want to set up Google Tag Manager, you have already set up Google Analytics. However, if you haven't, I've got a step-by-step guide for how to do this on Squarespace. So head over to the second link in the description to learn how to do that. However, in order to get your Google Analytics code, you want to head over to Developer Tools, External API Keys, and then copy the Google Analytics External API Key that you should have added if you've already set up Google Analytics. Then head back to Google Tag Manager, put the tag ID in here before then heading down to trigger. And when you choose a trigger, I want you to click initialization. So this is going to be an initialization trigger for your Google tag, which is connected to Google Analytics, and then you're going to press save. So yeah, there you are, guys. As easy as that. You've then set up an initialization tag on your Squarespace website. Now, again, we're not going to stop here. I'm going to show you something that I don't see commonly on other tutorials. I'm now going to actually show you how to track an event using Google Tag Manager. And this is really where the power of Google Tag Manager comes in, because when you set up custom events, such as for e-commerce publishers, form submissions, button clicks, this is where you're able to get more of a granular understanding in Google Analytics of where those conversions, where those key events are coming from. So the example that I'm going to be going through is a form submission. So this is how you create an event on a form submission, which then when it passes to Google Analytics, you're going to accurately be able to see where form submissions come from. So if you've ever wondered where your leads are coming from, this is exactly how you can do it. Now, the first thing that I actually want you to do is create a page on your website, which is a thank you page. This is going to be the page which all form submissions are going to pass to. So as you can see here, I've just added a thank you page, which says, thank you for getting in touch. We'll get back to you ASAP. And then there's a video explaining a little bit more about my SEO services and processes. And as you'll be able to see, if I go on here, you'll see that the URL is just thank you. So once you've set up your thank you page, I want you to head over to the contact form that you want to track. So this is on my contact us page. What you need to do is edit the contact form, head over to post submit, and then this is where you can do a redirect to a certain page on your website. So what I'm going to do is put thank you, and then I'm going to press save, which means whenever someone completes this form, they're going to be redirected to the thank you page that I've just shown you. And this is really key, because I'm now going to set up an event on that thank you page, which whenever someone visits that thank you page, it's going to send data to Google Analytics showing how that user found the contact us page and then was redirected to the thank you page. So in order to do this, we need to head over to triggers, because we're going to create a trigger whenever someone lands on that page. So we're going to do trigger, create a new trigger, and this is going to be thank you page. Trigger configuration, and we're going to select page view. Then we're going to click some page views, and then we're going to put page URL contains thank you. So we're creating a trigger for whenever someone views a page where the URL contains thank you. And then all we need to do is press save. We've created the trigger here. So we then need to go over to tags. We need to go to new, and we need to put here, this is a form submission. Then we're going to go on the trigger, and we're going to put thank you page visit. So we've done the trigger where someone visits this page. Now we need to create a tag, which is going to be passed through to Google Analytics as an event. I just need to go back and get the measurement ID. And then we're going to do the event name, which is going to be form submission. And then I press save. And just to recap, we've first of all created an initialization. So whenever visits my Squarespace website, Google Tag Manager is going to pass that data to Google Analytics. Then we've created a trigger where whenever someone visits my thank you page, it's going to track that. And then we've created a tag in order to pass a custom event over to Google Analytics, which means Google Tag Manager is going to pass over the data of that user that's completed the form submission to Google Analytics, so I can see the journey that that user found my website, went through the pages, and eventually submitted a form. Now, there are many different events that you can set up on Google Tag Manager. You can do link clicks, you can do other page submissions, you can get super granular with the kinds of events that you can set up. I'm not going to go through that in this video. However, I have linked one video in the description, which is super helpful for going into this in more detail, that another creator has made. Now that you've set up this event, and I know I've said this before, you are not done yet. Before you press submit, what I first want you to do is test this so you can make sure that you've set this up correctly. So before you press submit and we get to the end of the video, I first want you to go to preview. This is going to allow you to add your website in and complete a test on the website to make sure you've properly set up those tags. So you can see that it'll open the website in a new window, and you'll get this new tag assistant page, which is going to tell you which tags are fired. So as you can see here, you can see the first tag that we set up has been fired. This is our page visit. So this is going to be fired whenever someone visits a page. And then as you can see, the tag that hasn't fired yet is a form submission. So all we need to do is go over to the contact us page and do a test contact form submission. And what what this is going to do, we can see we're being redirected because we've set up that custom redirect. As you can see here, when we go back to tags fired, the form submission has fired. So we can just close these pages, go back to Google Tag Manager, and then press publish. And the reason we can publish is because we've set up all the events, we've set up the initialization, we've set up a custom event, and we've gone through and we've actually tested it so that we know it works. Now, of course, you may be wondering at this point, what does this actually mean? Now that you've set up Google Tag Manager and you've connected it to Google Analytics, what does this mean? Well, because you've set up a custom event, what this means is if you head over to your Google Analytics account and you head over to reports and then you head over to events, because you've created a new event. Now, it is going to take a little bit of time because it does take a few days for the event to be passed across. But because we've set a custom event in Google Tag Manager and passed it across to Google Analytics, very, very soon, we're going to see this event be passed across in this events tab here, which again, as I've already mentioned, is going to be super powerful because when we go to here and we go to landing page plus query string, this is going to see where all of the events have come from and which landing page the user landed on in order to create this event. So if you imagine when the contact form event pulls across, we're going to see which landing page those people landed on before they got to the contact us page, which is going to give us a really good understanding of how people are using the website, how people are finding us before they come a lead, before they come a sale, whatever event you decide to set up. But anyway, there you are, guys. Hopefully you are still with me and hopefully you've now set up a custom event on Google Tag Manager. You've now learned how to set up Google Tag Manager on Squarespace, and hopefully you're in a position where you're getting a better understanding of visitors coming to your website. As I've already mentioned, if you want to get more Squarespace tips and tricks, feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.